addressing an approach shot, an upshot, is going to be similar to coming off of the tee, similar to a drive. You got to base it on, you got to kind of rely on your judgment of distance to choose what kind of disc you're going to throw, how hard you're going to throw it, and obviously which direction to throw is going to be based on if you got trees in front of you or not, wide open. That's also going to come again to your discretion. What you feel most comfortable throwing, what kind of angle, what kind of shot. For me, from this distance, I like throwing the Champion Classic Rock. That's my bread and butter. If you ask anybody, that's what they're going to tell you. They know me with this guy. So the big difference between the approach and driving off the tee is that you generally don't run up unless you're throwing pretty much basically another drive, which that's only going to come on really long holes. So I'm almost going to set up similar to putting, except instead of having my feet pointing towards the basket, I'm going to have my feet pointing pretty much perpendicular from the basket. So this way I can get as much range and motion to get the power I want on it, but at the same time, as opposite of driving, I'm not going to be running up and getting all that momentum from running, so I'm not going to overthrow it as much as if I ran up. So, basically want to step up, look at your target, keep the disc on a level plane, straight back, straight forward in relation to the basket. Kind of see where you want to release it. Visualize where you're actually going to release your hand. You're not going to have your hand up here. You're not going to have your hand way down here. You're going to have it right here. So when you're doing your pump shots, just keep it there. Right where you want to release your hand, that's where you're going to want to be. That's pretty much the straight option. Get down to it, there's 3 different ways to throw the disc. Straight, a hyzer, and an anhyzer. Straight's plain and simple, it's straight. Hyzer, if you don't know what that means, it's just a term for the natural curvature of the disc, the natural flight of the disc. For right-handed people throwing backhand, it's going to come out and it's going to go to the left. For lefties, it's going to come out backhand also. Lefty backhand, it's going to come out, fade to the left. I'm sorry, the right. So an anhyzer is going to be pretty much the opposite. It's the unnatural flight of the disc. For backhanded righties, when you release it, it's going to fade to the right. And then lefties, when you release it, it's going to fade to the left. There's also a different type of way to throw called flicking, which is basically, if you're flicking right-handed, it's almost the same as throwing left-handed. It's going to come out of your hand and fade to the right for righties. Lefties, it's going to come out of your hand and fade to the left for lefties. So if you can master that shot, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, it's basically like being ambidextrous, and you can throw whatever angle you need. So I showed you the straight shot just now. So I'll go the hyzer route this time. So for this, I'm going to want to aim high since I'm not throwing it that far, because I know the disc is going to dive down to the left. So I'm actually going to be aiming up at this tree limb to the right of the tree in front of me, so that it's going to hit the air and just curve down to the basket. The same thing, you want to visualize about where you want to release your hand. Just kind of get a feel for it. It's about as simple as that. Again, as far as adjusting your lie and everything, however you're comfortable. And another thing I really didn't address, with the fan grip, like I was showing you with the putt, it takes the power off the disc. So you're not going to throw it as far. You can put more actually arm strength on it, but it's not going to pop out of your hand off your fingertips because they're not being used. So that being said, to throw an Anheuser shot, turning it over to the right, you kind of do want that pop because you want the disc to spin faster. So let me get this one. This one's a lot more understable. So for the Anheuser shot, this is actually a tough one. You know, that's the gap I have to go for. It's going to turn to the right. Another factor is the headwind. Headwind's going to make it turn over. The headwind makes the disc understable. So again, adjust your lie, aim the way you need to aim to, and then just get your pumps going, visualize your hand, then let it fly. That didn't really turn as much, so let me try it again. Anheuser again, going to fade to the right, got to aim to the left. See, cut it in too short. That's another disadvantage to throwing the Anheuser. It's a little harder to aim because of the curve of the disc. It's not something as natural. So you got to aim it wider. But whatever. Let's try it one more time for the camera. This is just a tough angle. So obviously the trees are there. They ain't moving out the way. You're going to hit them. Promise.